Welcome, welcome, ukwamkela, amohela, wamkelekile to the Glasfit Auto Glass Technical Training video series. These videos, together with the training manual, will give you, our value technicians, the necessary training to fit the best. And in addition, combined with your certification, will make you a valuable member of our Glasfit family. The videos will cover the 7-step fitting process: pre-inspection, protecting the vehicle, removal of the old glass, preparation of vehicle aperture and the replacement glass, installation, cleanup, post-inspection. When you are ready, let's get started. Always ensure you have the products and equipment you need to fit the best. Products. Let us begin with showing you all the products you'll need to do a successful windscreen fitment. Our technician is pointing at the Seeker cleaning pad and primer applicator. Use these together with Seeker Clean Glass liquid in the spray bottle to make sure that the windscreen is properly cleaned and that there is no silicone contamination. This is a cleaning aid that comes in a 25-liter bottle. You will need to decant or pour into spray bottles. This cleaning aid must never be diluted and must be used as it comes. The next product is Seeker Primer 207. This is an essential part of the whole fitment process. Without the Seeker Primer 207, the polyurethane will not stick to the glass. Please remember, it has a 3-minute flash-off time. The next product is called the Seeker Tac 30. It comes in a 400ml unipack or sausage. This product has a 30-minute drive-away time. Next, we have Seeker Remover 208. This is used to remove any excess Seeker Tac 30. Seeker Tac 30 can be removed while it is still wet using the Seeker Remover 208 and a cloth. There are 2 types of nozzles. The first type is a pre-cut nozzle, which can be used for almost 80% of windscreens fitted. The second type is a nozzle that has not been cut. You will cut the nozzle to fit the requirements of the vehicle that you are fitting. Step 1. Pre-inspection. The pre-inspection is probably one of the most important steps in the fitment process, as this is the moment where the customer and the glass technician will meet for the first time. Ensure you are clean and professional. The pre-inspection process will be completed in one of 2 ways, either on paper or on a digital device. Either way, this process must be completed properly as it protects the customer, Glasfit, and especially you. Begin by introducing yourself to the client. Explain to the client that you are doing a pre-inspection both inside and outside the vehicle to make sure that there are no faults with the vehicle, and if there are any problems such as scratches, dents and bumps, that these are noted down before you worked on their car. Look out for the customer's license disc and note the expiry date. The client will appreciate the attention to detail. Be sure to walk around the vehicle with the client in one direction from start to finish. Inspect the inside of the vehicle and start the vehicle to ensure that all lights and indicators are working. It is important to check that rain sensors are also working properly. It is also important to remember that you will need to check and test these items again during the post-inspection. Remove the key from the vehicle and fill out the pre-inspection form. Once the customer is happy, they can sign the form. Invite the customer to wait in the reception area where they will be comfortable. Step 2. Protecting the vehicle. Get all the protective covers to be put inside and outside the vehicle. The protective covers are used so that you, the windscreen technician, and your assistant, if you are working with one, do not damage any part of the vehicle. They also help keep the car clean while you work. Apply the outside covers before you start. Protective gloves, glasses, and all the other protective wear must be worn at all times by the technicians. The windscreen wipers and the cowling should only be removed after the protective covers are in place. Dry fit the windscreen to make sure that the new windscreen fits and it is the same shape as the existing windscreen. Always make sure that your tools do not touch the bodywork of the vehicle. Once the windscreen fit has been checked, you can now check if there is a rain sensor on the vehicle. If there is a rain sensor, remove the covers and make sure that the rain sensor bracket fits on the new windscreen. If there are any problems with the new windscreen, such as chips and scratches, or if the rain sensor bracket is wrong, you can stop the replacement process before it's too late. Alert your manager immediately before removing the protective covers. Step 3. Windscreen removal. Protective gloves, glasses and all other protective wear must be worn at all times by the technicians. You are now ready to start the removal process of the windscreen. Firstly, remove all the trimmings off the vehicle. Try not to damage the beading because you should reuse it if possible. You will now apply masking tape to the body of the car around the windscreen to protect the car before cutting out the windscreen. The sill also needs to be protected. Never stand on the sill if it is not covered during the fitment process. Once all the masking tape has been done, it's a good time to do a secondary dry fit because the vehicle is completely protected. To cut out the windscreen, you can either use a cold knife to cut the sides and then use piano wire to cut the top and the bottom sections. You can use the piano wire to cut around the whole windscreen from start to finish. This may also depend on the type of car you are working with. If you have to stand on the sill at this stage because of the height of the vehicle, keep your feet on the taped area and use a carpet if available. It is very important to use the dashboard protector so that the wire does not cut into the dashboard. Push the wire through the cut section so that the bottom of the windscreen can be cut out with the cutting wire. Always make sure you work with an assistant when using wire, one person on the inside and one person on the outside to make sure that the vehicle is protected while cutting. Depending on the vehicle, sometimes you will have to open the bonnet to get more leverage with the wire from the outside. This will make cutting easier because there is more space to work with. It is also safer to work this way in case the wire snaps. It won't hit or harm anybody. Place the suction cups on the windscreen to remove it. It will be easier and safer to handle. Use caution when lifting a cracked or shattered windscreen. We will now demonstrate cutting out a windscreen with the piano wire only. Notice the use of the dashboard protector all the way around the vehicle to protect the side panels, roof panels, and dashboard. Be careful with the VIN number on some vehicles. It can be in the way and the wire could damage the VIN number. Always talk to your assistant as you are working together in a team and you can both see what the other can't, especially when cutting in the corners and tricky areas. Some vehicles don't have clips at the bottom holding the windscreen in place, so use masking tape to suspend the glass before cutting all the way through the polyurethane to prevent the glass from sliding. Place the suction cups on the windscreen to remove it. Remember, it will be easier and safer to handle. Use caution when lifting a cracked or shattered windscreen. Step 4. Preparation, Part 1. Clean the aperture to make sure that it's dust-free by using a paintbrush and a clean, dry cloth with the blue liquid cleaning aid called Sika Clean Glass. Be careful not to spray it on the car. We will now cut the existing bead between 1 and 2 millimeters thick. The reason why we cut back the old polyurethane is to expose it to a fresh face. This fresh face of polyurethane bonds directly with the Sika TAC 30 and Sika Primer 207 and does not need to be activated. For fitters or technicians that are not so experienced, there should be an assistant to help pull the old polyurethane and hold it. It's important to inspect the pre-cut bead to make sure that there are no gaps, air bubbles or chipped paintwork or rust. This also makes sure that it's cut back properly. The aperture must be cleaned properly. This is where the windscreen molding goes and there is normally lots of dust and dirt. We will now wet the cloth with the Sika Clean Glass and clean the edges from marks where the old molding was without touching the pre-cut bead. When there are marks that are difficult to come off, use the Sika PCA pad with clean glass, as this will help without damaging the paintwork. Step 4. Preparation, Part 2. We will now demonstrate how to prepare the windscreen. Change gloves to the waterproof gloves. Remove all the plastic protection from the windscreen. At this point, you can check for silicone contamination. Using Sika Clean Glass, you will see areas where the liquid flows away. This points out possible contamination, such as silicone, oil from fingers, and must be removed. Use the Sika PCA pad. You will not have to wet it, just scrub the windscreen with the Sika PCA pad, removing the traces of possible contamination. To ensure that you have cleaned the windscreen properly, respray it. If it is properly cleaned, you will see that the liquid flows evenly. Dry the screen to make sure that all the residue has been taken off. After the windscreen has been properly cleaned, no hands must touch the windscreen and it must stay clean. The best way to do this is use the suction cups from underneath and turn the windscreen over so that no dust settles on the cleaned area. If the car requires windscreen molding, now is the easiest time to put it on without touching the pre-cleaned area and before priming. Use masking tape to keep the molding in place if needed. Remove the sticker with the part number and the barcode of the windscreen and place it on the job card. Place the alignment tape in preparation for the final dry fit. Make sure it is not in the client's view. Remember to clean any residue from the tape when it is removed at the end. Make sure that the windscreen aligns with the molding on it and make sure that the VIN number is visible at all times. Once you've checked that the moldings fits in place, remove the windscreen carefully and put it back on the windscreen stand. Inspect the body aperture properly. Any gaps or chipped paint must be covered with the Sika Primer 207. Step 5. Installation. Shake the Primer 207 for 1 minute to make sure that the ball is rattling freely and then shake it for another minute more. Shaking the bottle ensures that the primer is well mixed and not diluted as the liquid separates when it has not been used. Make sure the product has not expired. Use the Sika PCA sponge to apply the Sika Primer 207. You will notice there are 2 caps on the bottle. Never dispose of the second one, as you will use them both always. Put the Sika PCA sponge inside and do not over-apply. Replace the cap and keep it sealed. This will also prevent evaporation or accidental spilling. Primer 207 is applied to areas that have been scratched or damaged. This is to protect it from corrosion. Work carefully and make sure that the primer does not drip onto the vehicle body, because it dries very quickly and could be a problem, especially if it drips on the interior. The next step is to prepare the windscreen. Apply the Seeker Primer 207 and make sure that you apply it in one direction. One spongeful should be enough to do the whole windscreen. It's important to apply a thin but solid coat of primer. Inspect the windscreen before you start. On some windscreens, there are guide marks which must be followed. Make sure that the primer is applied in the correct place so that the polyurethane bead matches up with where the primer is applied on the aperture. In critical places, ensure that you apply a wide bead of primer to cover the area. The Seeker Primer 207 takes 5 minutes to dry at a normal temperature of 23 degrees. In colder weather, such as under 10 degrees Celsius, the drying time will take 8 minutes. In very hot weather, such as 35 degrees and up, the drying time will take 3 minutes. The adhesive we will use in this demonstration is Seeker Tac 30. Make sure that it is within the expiry date. Check that the pre-cut nozzle is the correct size. If not, cut a nozzle to a size that suits you. To measure it, place the nozzle inside the aperture and make sure the top of the V is in line with the roof. Take the mirror off the old windscreen. Be careful when you take it off. A gentle tap is recommended. It is recommended to put the mirror onto the new windscreen at this point. This is Seeker Tac 30, which is a cold-applied one-component polyurethane. It has a fast-curing 30-minute drive-away time. The product must be used within a specific time frame once it's opened. You will need to work carefully and quickly. The open time is 8 minutes, and the skinning time is 5 minutes. These times depend on the temperature. On a hot day, you will have 3 minutes to fit, and on a cold day, you will have roughly 8 to 10 minutes. Roll the product between your hands to make it softer. Cut the ring off with just a side cutter because it's always the easiest way to do it. Insert the Unipack into the applicator gun. Apply the guiding cap and the nozzle, in this demonstration the pre-cut nozzle. Ensure the V-shape is in the correct position of the gun. You are now ready to apply the adhesive onto your windscreen. The important part is when you apply the V-cut, that the top is always cut. Apply it at 90 degrees to the actual surface of the windscreen. On a regular size windscreen, it will probably take 1 minute and 20 seconds to apply it without rushing. Make sure that the bead starts at the bottom of the windscreen and goes all the way around. There should be no joins in this bead until the very end. Apply it all the way around. The bead needs to always meet at the bottom. If there is a join on the top or on the side, there is a possibility there will be a leak. Watch carefully. It is important when you connect to the beginning of the bead to do it correctly so that there are no air bubbles or any gaps. Make sure that the windscreen is assembled immediately after the application of the polyurethane or the Seeker Tac 30. Although the Seeker Tac 30 has a high strength, the actual windscreen shouldn't slide, but you should put alignment tape on the roof to prevent it from sliding. Remove the molding tapes and apply pressure onto the windscreen where the polyurethane bead is to ensure that the bead wets out correctly between the body and on the windscreen. Never hit the windscreen. Apply pressure evenly by sliding your hand over the areas. Make sure that the gap where the moldings fit is equal and are not bigger on one side than the other. Applying the polyurethane directly to the vehicle aperture is difficult and not recommended. You can damage the customer's seats or the levers inside the car. Remember, There can be no gaps or joins in the polyurethane, so finding the right position to work carefully and comfortably is very difficult. You will get to a point where you have to turn, and leaning on the vehicle dashboard is dangerous, and again, you will have to turn. Look how close your back will get to the bead you have just applied. Be careful, as you can mess Seeker product inside the vehicle, which will not clean easily. Another bad practice is when the technician leans on the door. This can cause damage to the vehicle bodywork and the alignment of the door. Remember that once the windscreen is fitted with the polyurethane, you must never smack the windscreen. This will cause the polyurethane bead to splash out, causing gaps and air bubbles, which will damage the fitment. Smoothly apply pressure to spread out the polyurethane so that it makes contact with the ceramic of the windscreen and with the body of the car. In this demonstration, the car had stoppers for the original windscreen, which were pre-installed. If a car does not have stoppers, you will need to make a small adjustment because the body clips will sit too high for the windscreen and will cause it to crack. You will have to bend the clips with the pliers. It is recommended that you notify the manager before you do this. Step 6. Cleanup. Reapplying the trimmings, windscreen wipers and cowling. Take off the protective tape. Make sure that everything is in place. When refitting the cowling and all other parts, make sure that there are no tools left inside. It's important that the cowling aligns properly with all the holes and that all the clips are put in place. Make sure that they are the same clips that came off the vehicle. Once the outside of the vehicle has been cleaned, you can start on the inside. Do an inspection again to make sure that there are no tools left inside, then close the bonnet. Rain sensors. There are two ways to replace the rain sensors, either using the old sensor with the gel applicator or apply the new sensor, which already has the gel applied. Work carefully with the sensors, as they can get damaged easily. Remove the clips that hold the unit together if you are using the old unit. Make sure everything fits correctly. Clip it back into place inside the vehicle. Once it's in place, put the cover back and check it has been put in correctly. There shouldn't be any gaps between the sensor and the glass seen from the outside. Start the vehicle in order to test the rain sensor and make sure that everything is working correctly. Continue with the cleanup process and put back the license disc and the e-tag, as well as any other stickers. Use a microfiber cloth to clean on the inside. Be careful not to scratch the dashboard or the displays. Remove the tape from the sill and the covers from the seats. Double check that the glass is clean and remove finger marks or dirt on the inside of the windscreen. Remove the alignment tapes and any tape residue if the drive away time has been reached, especially if Seeker TAC 30 was used. Make sure that the car is ready to deliver to the customer. Step 7. Post-inspection. You will now speak to the client and take them through a post-inspection of the vehicle. This is very important to make sure that the client is shown that they are getting back their vehicle in the same condition it was received. Make sure you test the electronics with the client, like the rain sensor and windscreen wipers. Once the post-inspection has been completed in detail and they have signed off the inspection form, hand them their keys. Once the client has driven away, be sure to clean up your working area and be ready for the next client. Thank you for watching this video series, and we hope that you feel more confident to fit the best.